Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go over how to drop the fuel tank skid and fuel tank on a Jeep TJ. Okay, so first you're going to want to jack up your Jeep and make sure you use some jack stands for safety, and then chock your wheels as well, and then pull a tire off. I usually just pull this tire off. It gives you access to most of the lines you need to disconnect. You can do it with the tire on, there's just less space to move around, so I like to pop a tire off. Alright, so for disconnecting the fuel lines, they have these style clips where it's flat on one side and then rounded on the other. The rounded side is where you'll actually push up into, and that's what releases the clip. It's kind of a two-hand job for me, so I'll have to set the camera down when I do it. But here on the driver's side is where a lot of the connections are, and then you've got some on the other side I'll show you in just a moment. Okay, so I don't know how well you guys can see. The sun's kind of shining right in my garage at this angle, but I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect a few of these. I did drop a towel down. It's gonna leak some gas out of those lines once I disconnect them. One other thing while I'm thinking about it, if you're gonna drop your fuel tank, you'd think it's common sense, but if you don't think about it, it sucks. Run your fuel tank all the way to, E, as low as you can feel comfortable driving it, and then park it. It'll be a lot more manageable with an empty tank. Alright, so right here, let's try and get one of these clips out. It's a lot of small wiggles. There we go. Let's see if this dumps anything. I like to kind of use like a small screwdriver or something to get on that clip a little bit better and it doesn't smash my fingertip. But I'm also a little bitch, so oh, there's some gas right on my glove. But still, not bad, just a little bit. But I find that helps, just something to wedge in there that's not like your tip of your finger. That kind of hurts after a while. So there's also, let me see if I can angle you. Yeah, I'll just pick you up. Try not to get gas on my camera. There is also an electrical clip right here you're going to want to take off. So I've done this line. We're going to do this little guy as well up here. And then we got to do this electrical connector. And I think that's pretty much it on this side. One other thing you're going to want to pull off, I can tuck you in here, is this breather hose. It's a breather hose for your differential, but it's connected and kind of run through with all the tank stuff, and it comes up near the fill spout. So the easiest thing, in my opinion, is to just pull that off the differential, and it'll go down with the tank, and you can just plug it back in later. So I'm going to go ahead and get this electrical connector, go ahead and pull this one off, and pull that breather hose off, and then we'll move to the other side, and I'll show you what you got to do over there. Alright, sorry camera, I need this angle. Alright, look at my beautiful bald head now. Ah, there it is. It's all about the angles, people, all about the angles. So, I'll bring you in here, it's a slightly better view. This is where the breather hose connects to the differential. My clamp's nice and old and rusty, so I can just slide mine off, no problem. And I believe that's all we have on this side. So you've got 1, 2, 3 lines with the connectors. You've got one electrical clip, and then you got the breather hose down there. And that should be good on this side. And now we'll go to the other side. Alright, this one kind of sucks because you got to reach up in there, but this is the passenger side. Right here's the tire, so this is the wheel well. So up here you'll have a couple clips. Mine already got pulled out, but just there's gonna be a bunch of junk and dirt in there when you drop this, by the way. But just pull your inner lining of your wheel out of the way, and then up in here, if you can see it, you've got this big clip at the top of that gray plastic thing. That white clip is another one of those, another one just like this, but up there. And you've got to unclip that one, and you got to unclip this one to lower the tank. So go ahead and do that. I'll leave the camera running. You probably won't see anything because my arms will be blocking it. But that one's kind of a pain in the ass all the way up there. Okay. I cried about it being a pain in the ass, and that was the easiest one to do by far. Okay, so let's do this little guy. Oh man. There you go. Okay. So those two are done. So the next thing you're So yeah, the next thing you're gonna want to do is stand up and smash your head on that jerry can mount. That hurt. Oh, pinched a nerve in my neck. I wonder, do I have a big bump on my head? Oh, that was painful. Well, thank God we got the kid with the Kia over there revving up his really awesome exhaust. Let me just wait until he's done. It's a sweet ride. Okay, so anyway, the next thing you want to do is remove these 4 screws that hold your fill spout in. That is a T25, so I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew those real quick off camera, and then we'll move on. Okay guys, so that should be all of the connectors that are actually connected to the tank and other lines. So now we should be free to lower the tank. So to do that, we need to remove these bolts back here. There's 4 of them. The 2 that are slightly angled are the straps that hold the tank to the skid plate, so you'll leave those in place. But these 4 carriage bolts we'll have to remove. And mine might look a little different. I've already replaced them once. And then there's also 3 carriage bolts up front here. You can kind of see one right there with the shiny new washer that I've replaced. So what I'm going to do is probably take 2 off in front and leave kind of the middle one on there to hold the tank. And then I'll come back here and I'll remove, I don't know, 2 or 3 of these, and then put the jack under the tank to hold the tank up. Go ahead and remove the other one on the front, and then do this one in the rear. And I'll probably mention it again when I'm doing it, but when you're doing this, you're going to want to lower the tank just a little bit slowly, and then check to make sure nothing's getting caught on anything, and also to check to make sure you've got everything unhooked. 2 things I know that'll give you a little trouble are going to be this fill spout. It'll get caught up a little bit up in here, so you can pull down this wheel well lining to reach up in there and get it out better. It'll kind of get hooked around here. And then the other side, same thing on the wheel well where we undid those other 2 big clips. That's going to get hooked a little bit, so you'll have to kind of stop mid-lower, readjust those, and just kind of check everything out to make sure you didn't leave anything connected, because the last thing you want to do is break something. So I'm going to go ahead and start undoing these bolts, and then we'll get back to it. Alright, before I go too much farther, I wanted to show you guys where the bolts in the front of the skid plate are. There's one there and one there. It's kind of mostly center, but a little to the driver's side. And then there's one more. I'll have to duck you under the exhaust, I think. Hold on. This one's kind of hard to see, but right here's my exhaust. That's the other bolt right there. So it's on the passenger side, and those are the 3 in the front that hold the skid plate up. So I'm going to go ahead and take off 2 of those, and then support the tank with a jack and a block of wood, and then do the other ones. So it's currently not going great. 2 of my front carriage bolts are just spinning. So one thing you can do if your carriage bolt's spinning when you're trying to unscrew the bolt, you can get a pry bar, wedge it up kind of in between the skid plate, and pry down. If you put downward pressure on it, it should kind of hold the bolt and let you unthread the nut. So that's what I'm going to try now. Hopefully we can get those off. So now I'm going to put this big block of wood on my floor jack. Kind of helps spread out the load and helps it from tipping. It still helps to have like another person when you're lowering it, just keep it balanced. So let's do that real quick. Okay, now I'm going to try and finish getting the front ones off. I got one of those spinning carriage bolts off. The other one I wanted to put some more weight on with the actual gas tank. So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to drop on my face. I've got all the front ones off, and I've just got 2 left tied on the back. So let's go ahead and get those done. While I'm doing this, I guess I can mention I purchased the Savvy's aluminum skid plate to go on here. So I'm just going to replace this with a nice thick aluminum skid. And that thing cost me like 550 bucks. It's not here yet. It just shipped yesterday, so I might have to finish this video in a couple days. But I still have to like fix the carriage bolts up front and stuff, so it'll give me time to do that. Okay, so that is now all the bolts. So I'm going to try and gently lower this some and then stop it. It's a little tight. Oh, there we go. Coming down. The big thing is it's going to catch a lot over here because I'm bringing that whole fill spout down. But you just got to kind of go slow and feed it through. The first time I did this, I thought the tank was pretty empty, but it was actually still pretty full. This time I ran it down to E till the gas light came on, and then a little bit more. So on this side, I'm just going to kind of feed these down a little bit more, make sure they're all clear. Looks like it's coming down good. Not seeing any other clips right now that I missed. So let me check my fill spout. Looks like it's coming down pretty good here. Pull this out of the way. Fill spout seems to be coming down good. All right, I think so far I'm in pretty good shape. Yeah, I think we got everything. First try. Didn't miss anything. This really isn't that hard. I was really nervous the first time I did it. I don't know why. I had never dropped a fuel tank before. I thought it was going to be a huge issue or a big deal, and it really wasn't. It's actually pretty easy. That horrible squeak was just the skid tank scratching on my exhaust a little bit. Okay, so that's through. Let's just go ahead and lower it there side. Let me show you real quick. This is what I'm talking about. That's the fill spout, and it just kind of gets stuck right in here. It's got that big lip on it, so you gotta just feed it through the opening. I'll show you once I get it out too. There's like a big vent pipe that's connected to the fill spout right there, and it makes a big ear on it, and that's really what gets caught. So you got to kind of twist and turn this thing through there. Let me put it back up on the jack a little bit. Maybe. One of those times where it would have been a little easier to have one other set of hands to keep it from falling. Ow. Ow, come on. That hurt. Scratch my head on the hitch. If you're bald or shave your head, you know my pain. Any light touch on your head fucking scratches and cuts you up. It sucks. And heads bleed a lot when they get cut. Okay, it's over there. Oh, pain. Find a better angle to push this. There we go. Now, push it that way. Okay, so I think, let me check if you can see. Yeah, this is that huge ear I was talking about. It's for a vent, but it gets stuck on everything in there, so you got to kind of twist it that way and feed it out. But that's the gas tank drop. Move that onto this little cart I got. Man, that's much more manageable when you empty it. I could barely lift that thing by myself the first time. This isn't bad at all. So, here's a look at the fuel tank once it's dropped. If you're swapping fuel tanks, you don't have to worry about like undoing each of these. These guys just clip off those white plastic clips down there. So you can pull this whole thing off together, just undo that connector, and it's pretty easy. Fuel pump here, this plastic ring is just screwed on. I use like a little block of wood right there, and I tap it with a hammer to loosen it and tighten it. Yeah, I don't know, not a whole lot to it. Alright guys, well that does it for this video. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoy the content or want to see more content about my TJ to help you with your own, please like, comment, subscribe, just anything to help me out. A lot of work goes on these videos even if it doesn't look like it, so I appreciate it. Have a good one.